sa aral mong nagsisilbing liwanag.
What is a hypostatic union? We may have to understand it by how Catholics render the thought that God died as essential merit to construe that God has a human nature. Let's read from the Catechism. It says, "Similarly, according to the rule of the Catholic faith, we also say with the strictest truth that God was born of a virgin, that God died, for as the divinity was never separated from his body which was laid in the sepulchre, we truly confess that God was buried." Catechism of Trent of Pope St. Pius V, Art. 4, Number 8, Part 2. Unquote. It simply suggests a reconciling reality that God has dual nature that is human and divine, for the thought that God died is a reality, right? So in essence, hypostatic union is the union of God's human and divine nature as an individual person, that is, Jesus Christ. Is this biblical, for God to have a human nature? No. It's simply because God is a spirit and a spirit has no human nature. Let's read John 4 verse 24. 24. God is a spirit, and they that worship him must worship him in spirit and in truth. Unquote. A spirit has no human nature. Luke 24 verse 39. 39. Behold my hands and my feet, that it is I myself, handle me, and see, for a spirit hath not flesh and bones, as ye see me have. Unquote. Therefore, the concept of hypostatic union wherein God has a human nature that literally died is preposterous and unlikely, seeing how biblical narrative describes God to be a spirit. A spirit is not human, rendering the concept of hypostasis as incorrect. How is God that is, Jesus Christ, a spirit? Because he has pre-existence as both God and Creator, as it says. John 1 verse 1. The Word was God. Hebrews 1 verse 8 to 10. Unto the Son he saith, Thou, O Lord, in the beginning hast laid the foundation of the earth, and the heavens are the works of thy hands. Unquote. Therefore, for being a pre-existing God and Creator, then he was a true God, and for that he was a spirit. John 4 verse 24. God is a spirit. Unquote. Is his being a spirit changeable so to integrate in himself a human nature? In short, can his being a spirit adopts in himself the reality of hypostasis so for God to have a human nature, because in doing so, there was some form of change or transformation? No. He cannot change. He will forever be a spirit, neither can he adopt a dual nature, human and divine. Let's read Hebrews 13 verse 8. 8. Jesus Christ the same yesterday, and today, and forever. Hebrews 1 verses 8 and 12. 8. But unto the Son he saith, Thy throne, O God, is forever and ever, a scepter of righteousness is the scepter of thy kingdom. 12. And as a vesture shalt thou fold them up, and they shall be changed, but thou art the same, and thy years shall not fail. Unquote. Therefore, God would always be a spirit. He cannot change. He cannot have a human nature because a spirit isn't human. The thing is, why did John 1 verse 14 says God becomes human? It's sort of indicating that hypostasis is correct. No. Hypostasis can never be correct. God becoming human is not literal if we are to consult the Greek term used. It should have been to figuratively become, which suggests an indwelling of God who is a spirit in the human host. Let's read 1 John 4 verse 2. 2. Hereby know ye the Spirit of God, every spirit that confesseth that Jesus Christ is come into the flesh is of God. That as descriptive of the figurative symbol, God becomes human. It isn't literal but figurative of his indwelling in the human host. Having this simple analytical, we may conclude that hypostasis is wrong, and God never died. And for God to be a spirit as categorical definition, then he cannot be man nor having the trace of being human, in whatever union that would be. John 4 verse 24. God is a spirit. Unquote. Objection may come like, John 1 verse 14 has the word becoming human, so it's hypostatic, right? Nope. John 1 verse 14 is questionable, as in the Greek used egenomai could either be literally become human or figuratively become human. It cannot be literal since the word was God, and he cannot transmutate nor change as I presented above. Thank you.